Should be live now. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to a Chris Lee United Destiny Entertainment tutorial. What I'm going to be doing with this video is basically showing you guys how I mixed the 41 number song inside of Pro Tools. I remixed it. I made the beat. I sang on it. I rapped on it, etc. Hopefully the mix comes through really clean inside of Pro Tools, but I'm doing it through Voicemeeter, so if it doesn't, just go listen to the real version on my YouTube and then share it and let me know what you think. All right, so let me see. All right, so just to be sure that we live streaming real quick. Yes, sir, the stream is going right now. So we are good to go. One thing I will say that I need to go back and do is take this off because it's not family TV. So yeah, anyways, let's get it popping. All right, check it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the song real quick.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46, 47, yeah, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46, 47.
It's only been a minute that I've been laying up in it. She told me that she needed, she called me to come and get it. 60 seconds we going in, and she know I'm about to win. She can't get enough of my numbers game, and this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nose on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma beat it up, it's crunch time. Her face is planted in a pillow and I really gotta scream it. Yeah. 42, 44, that clock is still running.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the rap verse. All right, check it out.
She playing them games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on her, she know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it. I'm living this life and that's real. Don't give a damn how you feel, you deny, no need for appeal. I'm harvesting green for my meal. My package I'm carrying still. You know I deliver, got her flowing like a river. I'm ready to dive up in it, you know I'm a winner. Yeah. 42, 44, and that clock is still running. We going in. 46, 47.
All right, so that's the track. So what I want to do is I probably want to go in and go to, let's see, I can solo save this, this. And then let's just try to focus on the beat for right now. So everything else, but I mean, you know, I tell you what. So we're gonna do the beat solo. All right, so I ended up producing this beat inside of FL Studio. I ended up taking a sample of the 4142. I think his name YT, or I don't know how to say his name, but pretty dope guy that went viral, you know, all over social media for doing a whole numbers counting thing. I thought it was pretty dope when I first heard it, but it wasn't until last week where I decided that, hey man, I want to try to do something dope with this, switch it up. I seen people were kind of like doing different things with edits and the videos and kind of putting it out there. So I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So I went with an R&B version. So what I did was, here's the vocals.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46, 47. Yeah.
So instead of it going from 41 to 49, as you can tell, I kind of switched it up, added like a little stutter effect, had it go to like 45, 46, and then kind of repeat itself, and then just kind of break it down from there. I didn't take it all the way to 48, 49, but that's just the creativity that I was feeling in the process, so that's what I went with. So then in the process, I went ahead and added a grand piano.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46, 47. Yeah.
Now this is more so of a electric piano, but what I did was I pretty much blended two different sounds and then I added some effects to it to make it sound the way that it's sounding right now. Then I went in and added
47, 45,
that low end.
46, 47. Yeah. 41.
Okay. Then I went in and added Synthmaster.
47, 45, 46, 47. Yeah. 41, 42, 43.
Okay, so after that, I went in and added 808. I wanted something to be, now this, I ran into a little problem with it being a little bit muddy, but what I wanted to do was have that main bass line and then an 808 still under it. So when it hit the sub, that it would basically bang and, hit pretty hard. And based off people who've heard the song already, they said that's exactly what it did for them. So I'm pretty happy about that.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46, 47. Yeah.
Okay. Then I went in and added some claps. Pretty simple.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 46.
Okay, then some hi-hats.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46.
And then I layered it with another.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47.
And that's to kind of give it like that trap R&B style. Then I went in the process and added the kicks.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47.
Snare.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45, 46.
Then I went in the process and I wanted to add something a little bit different. So check it out.
42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 45.
So it's kind of like a light bell type sound in Nexus. It's one of my favorite VSTs to use. So
46, 47. Yeah. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45,
Okay.
46, 47, 45.
and that was pretty much what I did with the beat. Then obviously going in. So what I'm going to do is hit beat, take this off solo, mute the beat. And then I want to go into why I decided to write the song the way that I did. Basically, I just wanted to take that numbers concept and not really change so much of what he was doing, but just kind of add to the concept. So I kind of figured with him counting all the way up to basically a minute, in my opinion, I just tried to make it about, I don't want to say it in that way, but more so of a sexual concept of saying, we have this amount of time, or we're going in during this amount of time. So this is where we're at, and within that 1 minute. That was my way of trying to be more creative with it and switch it up. Now, of course, it's not appropriate for everybody. It's not, for your average 9-year-old kid or whatever the case may be. But there's not really anything that I say in a song that's really sexual other than, I think, booty or something like that. Other than that, it is what it is. It's, I feel like it's more so for adults, and they'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So hook wise, what I went in and did was
42, 44, 46, 47, 46, 47. See, it's only been a minute that I've been laying up in it. She told me that she needed, she called me to come and get it. 60 seconds we going in, and she know I'm about to win. She can't get enough of my numbers game.
So that's what I came up with. I decided to call it Numbers Game, to make it more like a little competition between me and her, and that's kind of where I came up with the hook. Now, as far as the verse, it was just more so, creativity of what I felt I was doing in a moment, or what was happening in a moment.
60 seconds we go in. And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma beat it up, it's crunch time. Her face is planted in a pillow and I really gotta scream it. Yeah.
Okay, so you heard the lyrics of what I did in the verse. Now, when we talk about how I decided to mix the song in general, there was just a different approach that I wanted to go with it. I didn't want the song to be too wet as far as the reverb. So what I did in the process was basically I wanted to go for a little bit more of a dry sound, but I wanted my vocals to sound more up front, present in your face instead of way in the background. Okay, so obviously you see that I have meta plugins, some de-esser, things like that as far as my main vocals. But what I like to do is set up a main bus track. And when I set up an auxiliary track, you can call it auxiliary bus track, whatever, I'm able to send my main vocals to an auxiliary track and then put effects on my auxiliary track that's going to actually control, act almost like a master fader, but also it's going to control what effects that I put on my vocals like a master channel. Okay, so in the process, what I decided to do was I went ahead and added SSL, EQ. And the thing about this is you can add EQ, noise gate, compression, all that with this one plugin. It's a great plugin. I definitely recommend that you use it. If you don't have it, get it. Okay, so in the process, I also added another EQ. I wanted to cut out the low end frequency, and then I wanted to cut some of the mids a little bit so I can make my vocals more thinner. I also added some top end or some high end frequency simply because I wanted my vocals to sound thinner. Naturally, my voice is like really deep, especially if I wake up in the morning or about to go to sleep or whatever the case may be. Just depending on the day, if I'm not feeling well, my voice can sound like really deep, So I utilize the EQ in the process to go ahead and thin my vocals out so they can actually pierce through the mix of the 808s, the kicks, etc. So then in the process, I added one of my favorite compressors, CLA 3A. This is a great compressor. I love it. It's kind of one of my go-to I don't use it for every session, every song, but I will say when I feel like other compressors don't get the job done, I know that one's going to get the job done for sure. Okay, so then now in the process, I went ahead and added some extra EQ on top of it. This is a very strong EQ, but it also has a very strong compressor plug-in as well. This can become very sharp, and it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Just depends on how you want your mix to sound. For me, when I really need to clean up something very muddy, this is kind of one of my go-to plugins if, you know, something else isn't getting the job done right away. And then I added another compressor. Now, I know you probably be thinking, man, why did you add so many compressors? Well, I'm the type of engineer, I do what I need to do to get the job done. Whatever sounds good, sounds good. So no matter how many plugins I use, EQs, compressors, whatever, that's what I'm going to run with. And I treat all my clients' music the same way. Okay, so obviously in the process, I added more auxiliary tracks with reverb, some delays, and also some chorus effects. That's pretty much the main body of it.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma beat it up, it's crunch time. Her face is planted in a pillow and I really gotta scream it. Yeah.
41,
42,
43,
44.
Okay. So now in the process, if I go in and turn everything off, then you're going to hear a huge difference. And I'm going to show you that right now. So you heard what you just heard in the process. And I'm just going to kind of let you hear what it sounds like with no effects other than
This is a
de-esser.
feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling.
If you notice, it sounds very muffled. It sounds really dry. There's no presence to the vocals. Now, say if I go in and start, you know, just turning a lot of the, even if I don't turn on the master stuff right now, let's go with the EQ. Let's do a plug-in by plug-in and see what we get.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on
Without
her
it?
shoulder.
With it.
She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it.
If you notice, it made that muffleness a little bit brighter, so it brought that vocal out a little bit more. Now, was it major? No, absolutely not. But it was enough to make a difference in the vocal, but not enough to carry the song as is. So obviously I started to add more plugins in the process. So now I wanted to add another EQ on top of that to brighten that up. So let's see what that sounds like.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get
Without it?
over.
With it.
I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails in my back and I can't
Without
get
it?
enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling.
With it.
See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it.
Now, if you notice with that EQ brought it out a lot more. Now, depending on how trained your ear is, it probably didn't do much for you. But for me, I could tell the difference. It was very subtle enough for me to say, yo, that EQ did something a little bit more. So that's what I did in the process. Now, I wanted to add something else to make the vocal kind of stand out and be more up front in my face. So I added a compressor.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder.
Without it.
She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling.
With it.
See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up.
If you notice, the vocal jumped straight to me, more so in my face, and I was okay with that. That's what I was looking for. Now, sorry if y'all getting a lot of signal. I got people texting me at the same time. that compressor made the vocal more up front in my face. Like I felt like the vocal was right here in front of me. That's what I want. That's what I want to go for with my vocals. Okay. So then I wanted to EQ the compressed EQ'd signal, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to take the compression or the compressed signal that I have, and then I'm going to EQ it to make it stand out more. Okay, so let's do that in the process. Let's play it.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over.
That's with it.
I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder.
Without it.
She putting her nails on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she
With
feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunch.
Now check this out. This is not about just slapping plugins on the vocals. It's about achieving a particular sound. When you have a lot going on with the, I guess you can say the instrumentation, you want to make sure that your vocals can compensate for that. So in a process, if you have a lot going on with your beat and your vocals aren't clear, sharp, thin enough, they won't pierce through the mix. They'll actually get drowned out. So you want to be able to do something with your vocals enough to make sure that they stand out on top of the vocals, or they are the focus of the, entire song in general. So that's something that you need to focus on. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that this particular EQ can be very sharp. Most people don't want to utilize it because of that. But for me, I feel like it definitely took a sound that I was okay with, and then it kicked it up a notch. It really brought it out and gave me the clarity that I was looking for. So that's why I utilized it. Now I'm going to compress the EQ, compress EQ signal, if that makes sense. Okay. So now I'm going to add a compressor to it again.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over.
With it.
I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma beat it up, it's crunch time. Faces planted in.
Okay, if you notice, without this compressor, the vocals are very open and wide, and they're kind of, there's no, I don't want to say, well, kind of like a threshold, but there's nothing kind of holding it. It's like a bundle of straws that's like out of control, but you want to hold those straws together tighter. That's what I did with this plugin, was I wanted my vocals to be tighter, not just brighter, but tighter. Okay. Check it out. Listen to it again.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder.
Without it.
She putting her nails on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing her, touching her, feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling.
With it.
See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma be.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like it both ways, but the reality of it is when you have it sounding too bright for what I'm trying to do for my final stage, that wasn't good enough for me. I needed something a little bit tighter, and then I can go make it brighter later on down the road. Okay. Now the rest of it, it's really up to you. What you utilize. The reverb is obviously going to make my vocals in a different space. Is going to make them wetter. Is going to make them sound more like in a hallway, a chamber, auditorium. Just something with a nice room size to make the vocals sound a little bit wetter and open and kind of create separation. Now, when it comes to the plugins, it's not just about slapping anything on your vocals. Again, every plugin that I use, I utilize it with a purpose. A lot of it really consists of not just slapping plugins on there, but how you record the track. I wanted to make sure that my vocal levels was really good going inside of Pro Tools. And then also a big key that people never pay attention to is panning. How you makes a huge difference before you even start slapping plugins on everything. You can make a song sound good just based off how you pan your vocals. You double up on your vocals, and I tend to double up on every vocal and just pan them left and right, as you can see here through the track. Now in the process, you want to go in and start adding reverb or whatever the case may be. I also like a little delay on my track, but I don't like the delay as it is. So sometimes I'll add all kind of different effects on my delays or whatever the case may be. Or I will use plugins to affect I guess you can say the delayed signal to the point to where my delays sound different. They don't sound the same. They don't sound typical of how everybody else would do it. Chorus effects for me is one of my favorite things to do when it comes to mixing vocals for myself or clients or whatever the case may be, because I feel like it gives it a different, authentic sound. Anybody's natural voice is gonna sound, either good or bad. It doesn't matter. But I feel like when it comes to the art of mixing, if you want something to sound very creative and different, when you're in the mixing phase and recording studio phase, it's not live. So you have the option to and the freedom to go ahead and mix it the way that you want it with all creativity. It doesn't matter if people say it sounds too robotic or too this or too many effects or not enough effects or whatever the case may be. It's not a live performance. Like when you record inside of Pro Tools, it's meant to be perfection. It's meant to be detailed and creative if that's what you're going for. If you want something that's dry and a live performance, then by all means do what you do. But in the process of this, you want to make sure that you do it to the way that's going to bring out the most creativity of the track. I feel like what I did with the effects carried what I was trying to do and accomplish in the track. Okay.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over.
So delay.
I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her.
So what I did was add a delay. I EQ'd delay. I compressed the delay, and I added the delay to my main bus track.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over.
Now check it out. Without it, you're gonna hear the little echo. You're gonna hear the little delay. So let me go ahead and mute this. Pull this over some. Listen to the vocal. Dry.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder.
That's just with some reverb on it and obviously the EQs, but I'm talking about as far as the delay. Now watch the delay. You're going to hear a little echo follow behind the vocal. So I'm going to turn on delay and get this thing EQ'd and compressed.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails on my back and I can't get.
Okay, I love it. In the process. Now, I want to go in and add some chorus effects.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails.
So this chorus effect stuff is going to make the vocal sound like a little bit robotic, but like a smoother, wider robotic sound. And I like that chorus effect in general when I'm mixing anything, just because it just makes it sound different for me. It kind of smooths out the sharpness of the vocals and then gives my, I guess you can say, my ad libs or my harmonies a different sound in the process. Okay.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kissing, I'm touching, I'm feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling.
Okay. So now, all I did was just add extra. So I do like a stereo widen to widen my vocals out, but then also bring down some of the brightness of the vocals as well. So when it comes to utilizing your plugins, you have to realize what type of space you want your vocals to sound like they're in. If you're going to utilize reverb, figure out what you want your vocals to sound like. Do you want it to sound in a tight, small room, an open, big room, an auditorium? These controls, you're going to figure that out based off how you want it. That's like a personal preference thing. For me, I just kind of do what feels natural to me and what I like to do in the process. When it comes to delay, there's so many different ways that you can do the delay. You know, there's so many different delay plugins that you can use that's either going to base it off like the samples or, you know, the tempo or whatever the case may be. If you know how to utilize your ear, then you can adjust the milliseconds on your delay. And as long as it sounds like the timing is right, then it's going to sound good. If something sounds like it's off or it's slap delaying too fast or too slow, then you need to adjust that to fit the tempo or the song to match up. Okay, so in the process, when I'm using stereo imaging, you know, I feel like overall vocals sound good when they're tight, but they can also sound good when they're wider as well. So I like to take that and not widen the entire song, but more so my vocals so they can sit in the mix better. The whole thing about mixing is learning how to create space between your vocals and your instrumentation. I always give a rule of thumb, and that's more so if you have a lot going on in your beat, do less in your vocals. If you have a lot of things going on with your vocals, then do less in your beat. That's really the best way to put it. There's really no other way. I would recommend you putting a lot of vocals and instrumentation going together, because I know a lot of artists in the industry tend to do it. But the thing about it is the majority of the things that they have in their beat are going on in their vocals. You can't hear it anyways. So it's almost like pointless being there. So in the process, you just got to pick and choose what you want to stand out, the beat or the vocals. If you want the vocals to stand out, then do less in the beat. If you want the beat to stand out, then do less in the vocals. It's really that simple. Okay, so I added the stereo imaging and then again, more EQ. So now I'm going to go through in the process and just add the rest of the plugins.
And this is a feeling that she cannot get over. I'm touching her body and squeezing all on her shoulder. She putting her nails on my back and I can't get enough of it. I kiss and I touch and I'm feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. I'ma eat it up like lunchtime. I'ma beat it up, it's crunch time. Her face is planted in a pillow and I really gotta scream it. Yeah.
41,
42,
43,
44.
45.
That clock is still running. 46, 47. Watch me repeat it now. 46, 47. How you do that thing? See, it's only been a minute that I've been laying in. She told me that she needed. She called me to come and get it.
Okay, so that's that. Now, when it comes to the rap verse, that was just a different approach that I wanted to take. So let me go ahead and mute the beat.
She playing them games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on her. She know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it. I'm living this life and that's real. Don't give a damn how you feel, you deny. No need for a pill. I'm harvesting green from my meal. My package I'm carrying still. You know I deliver. Got it flowing like a river. I'm ready to dive up in it. You know I'm a winner. Yeah.
Now check this out. When you're doing rap vocals, the majority of the time you're gonna have a bunch of engineers in studio telling you that you need to record the vocals 5-6 times. Do I agree with that? Yes and no. I agree with it if that's what you need to do to accomplish the sound that you want to get out of your final mix. But do I think it could be achieved without doing that? Absolutely. I don't think you need all those vocals. So it's just more so how you utilize your plugins to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Now, check this out. Sounds crazy, but the majority of the time, usually you want to have your rap vocals set up on a I guess you can say a different auxiliary track or a bus track with your own different EQs, compressors, whatever on it to make it sound different. For me in this case, I wanted to do exactly what I did on the singing vocals on the rap vocals because I wanted it to have that particular sound. So I stuck with what I stuck with. Okay.
She playing them games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on her. She know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it. I'm living this life and that's real. Don't give a damn how you feel, you deny. No need for a pill. I'm harvesting green for my meal. My package I'm carrying still. You know I deliver. Got it flowing like a river. I'm ready to dive up in it. You know I'm a winner.
Now, the only thing that I feel different with this is I only wanted my main vocal to stand out. But then the secondary vocal, I wanted it to be completely different. And what I mean by different is exactly that. I wanted it to sound different. So I went ahead and added like a, I guess you can say, like a doubler effect. Now check this out. I'm not really sure if anybody, you know, who's watching my chat or who's watching my video right now. I'm having a hard time trying to find my actual, I see like my live, but I'm trying to actually find the comment section because my comment section ain't popping up right now. So let me see what's going on. Let me see if I can re-click it and then, okay. So now I see it. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing it right now. So forgive me. Hey, what's good, Michael? How you doing? What's good, George? What's good with you? Hey, son. Shout out to my wife, Just to Fly. Hey, what's good with you? How you doing, Nathaniel? Heard that song in Nathaniel Instagram. Yeah. Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, I truly appreciate it. Thank you. So now in the process, what I was saying was with that particular vocal, I wanted that vocal to stand out and be different. So I wanted it not to sound the same as my main lead vocal. So check it out.
She playing the games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on it. She know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it.
Now check this out. If I played that vocal by itself, you probably wouldn't like it. You probably wouldn't think that it's cool. You probably wouldn't think that it sounds good. None of that. But there is a special reason why I'm doing that. Because again, I'm trying to accomplish something different as far as my sound. So how you want to accomplish that in the process is you want to make sure that you're not afraid to try things. Like I feel like if you base it off like a rule book, then you won't ever be good as an engineer. Like they have all these rules about you can't do this and you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. All that is a bunch of BS. If you want to make money, if you want to get clients, you better do what you need to do to make the mix sound good, period, point blank. Screw the rules. Screw what you learned in school. If it sounds good, it's good. If it don't, guess what? It's probably not good. Live stream. I want to go ahead and share this on Facebook. Tune in. I should have probably did this like an hour ago, but you know what? It's all right. It's all right. Go ahead and post that. So yeah, with that vocal by itself, I wanted to push it a little bit more. So now I'm going to add the other vocal, the main vocal.
She playing them games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on her. She know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it. I'm living this life and that's real. Don't give a damn how you feel, you deny. No need for a pill.
Yeah.
I'm harvesting green for my meal. My package I'm carrying still. You know I deliver. Got it flowing like a river. I'm ready to dive up in it. You know I'm a winner.
Okay, so I wanted to go with the edgy style. Now, if you notice, without that secondary vocal, the vocal sounds good as is, but I wanted that secondary vocal to give it more of a little edge top end. That's something creative that I wanted to do. Now, I was going to add like 4 more plugins, and then I was like, hold on, let me put the brakes on. I like it as is. Now, if I go in right now and show you what it would have, I guess what it would have sounded like, then you probably will like it, but it probably not be your taste. But for me, it fit perfectly. Now, in the process, ad-libs are very important. But what I did in the track was I wanted the vocals to sound more like a whisper thing. So check it out.
She playing them games, I ain't with it. She teasing, she know I'ma get it. She shaking it round and round with a target up on her, she know I'ma hit it. I cut her a check and don't split it. That booty be tight like a fitted. She don't say a word, she get what she wants. She prideful, but she won't admit it.
Okay, so there's a little harmony that you hear in there, right? But check this out. I want to show you something. Notice what I do here. Quick tip for you. Whenever you feel like you want your vocals to sound a little, say if you're recording like a female and you want to have like some top end on her vocals, like a nice high end vocal that stands out, you don't always have to do it with the EQ. Sometimes the EQ is too harsh. All you have to do is have her go in and add like a whisper over her vocals and it'll stand out. So that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to keep adding more EQ to the track. I wanted to use my high end whisper to be the top end on my vocals to give it that extra top end clarity that I was looking for. Okay. So in the process, that's something that you want to utilize if you want more top end. If it doesn't work out, anything that you do when it comes to the recording process or the mixing process, you can make anything work, but you have to know the limits when you should do something and when you shouldn't do something. Again, if it doesn't sound good, then you probably shouldn't do it. If it sounds good, then continue to do your thing, but just know when enough is enough. All right, so let me see. I'm going to try to interact real quick still. Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm kind of liking this whole live thing a little too much. And I can't help it. Hey, what's up, LaRon? How you doing? How you doing? Go through and see who's in here. Yes, sir. I see him. So, yeah, like, this is something that I want to do more in the future because I want, you guys to kind of dive into my personal space when it comes to mixing. I know you guys see a lot of tutorials. I share a lot of things with you guys. I give you guys a lot of tips to get better. But I just kind of want you guys to be in my personal space live, not on a video where I'm trying to be perfect and everything and I have to cut out and edit everything. I just want it to be authentic and transparent in a moment, and that's what I'm doing right now. So you guys get a sneak preview, of what I'm going to be doing more in the future. So I feel like the harmonies carried the verse as well.
Playing them games, I ain't with it. She know I'ma get it. She know I'ma hit it. Tight like a fitted. She wanna admit it.
Hey, by the way, shout out to my wife. She on my live right now. She on my live right now getting me right. So I truly appreciate that. Telling me to interact with y'all. So thank you. Yeah, in the process, that's pretty much all I wanted to do for the track. Now, normally on a bridge, I would like to go in and change everything completely up and try to sound different, but I didn't. I just wanted to carry what I did prior over on this spot, and then I just changed what I did in the beat. Check it out. So I'm gonna cut this one off.
46, 47, 45, 46, 47.
Tell me if you notice something different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45.
If you notice the vocal, it sounds different than other than the main vocal. And the reason being is because I wanted it to sound very thin because I wanted my vocals that I had over it to sound and stand out a little bit more. So in the process, I'm going to go in here and play this part.
Game, and this is the feeling that she cannot get over.
45, 46.
If you notice, I recorded vocals right here, but something in me said, hey, just take that out and kind of let it ride with his background vocals.
First game, and this is the feeling that she cannot get over.
45, 46, 47, 45.
She putting her nails in my back and I can't get enough of it. I kiss and I touch and I'm feeling it. She can't explain what she feeling. See, we sweating and competing while I'm in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You know, as far as other things that I did in the track, you know, it's not really anything that stands out. I have so many people like, yo, man, what is all these crazy things that you're doing with your track, etc. I'm like, chill. Like, I'm not doing anything differently or special than anybody else. I just utilize my plugins differently than you or anybody else. It's because I want me to be different. I want my style of engineering and mixing to sound different than, you know, the 50 friends of mine who mix music. You know, I want to be able to have a distinct sound that stands out, that's gonna assure me that I'm gonna make money by sealing a deal with that client, if that makes sense. It's not always about money with me. I just have this artistic fetish with music and how I can make things sound. And if I don't get that accomplished, believe it or not, it drives me crazy. So I like to explore my creativity within myself and don't put myself in a box or put myself in chains when it comes to being creative, because you never know what you can get. And the majority of the time, a lot of people just like my style of mixing and what I do. With that being said, if you are new to this channel, new to me, new to my videos, new to anything, I know that I shared this on social media to try to get other people to tune into these lives. If you want your music mixed and mastered by me, just contact me. Email me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be, and I will get you right. If you need beats, mixing, mastering, if you need vocal coaching, if you need artist development, anything, I'm able to help you out with that. My rates are very reasonable, and the growth that you're going to get out of it in the process is going to benefit you later. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you hear me slurring over my words or messing up or whatever the case may be, it's because I got a little delay in my headphones and I'm hearing everything like an echo. So it's kind of hard to talk to you and present what I'm doing to you while hearing that vocal in my ear or whatever. So for the most part, that's pretty much it. That's really all I needed to show you on this tutorial. If you want to subscribe, be sure to subscribe. Go check out my Pro Tools tutorials, all my videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of Pro Tools, I guess you can say, series, more so on the basics, EQs, compressors, reverbs, all of that, because I don't care how good you are or how long you've been doing this. It's going to benefit you more if you take the time to learn the basics again, because sometimes the basics are more beneficial than you trying to do all this crazy stuff inside of Pro Tools, this expert stuff or whatever the case may be. Just take it slow, be creative, and trust the process. That's pretty much it for this video. I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for showing me love. Stay tuned for the next video.